the only one who's been trying to get Donald Trump to stop telling lies about President Obama's birth certificate. I've been getting some help on this one from my buddy Karl Rove.
Donald Trump's consigliere, Michael Cohen, told me this weekend that this was not Trump's fault. It was the media's fault, because the media was always asking Trump about this, and that Trump wanted to talk about other things. I said, well, fine, gratuitous advice. Next time the media asks about it, I've said all I'm going to say about the issue. I want to talk about the big issues that America concerned about: deficits, debt, jobs, and the respect for America and the world. And of course, Cohen called me back later and said, oh, Mr. Trump is going to do exactly that. And then, of course, Monday he went out and did what he did, which is to say, I've got deep doubts about it, and give these series of interviews in which he's continued to escalate the issue and not step back from it.
Donald Trump's writers wrote a short piece for USA Today in which they said, under his byline, "I have spoken my piece on this issue." Now, in a sane world, you'd have the right to assume that Donald Trump was finished with the birth certificate thing. But in Trump world, he then goes on CNN This Morning, and guess what happens?
You can't get out of the gate in a general election if you say that you're questioning whether Barack Obama was born in America. You won't win.
Oh, I don't think that at all. I think there's a real question as to whether or not, and frankly, 75% of the people in the Republican Party are really doubting whether or not they have very big doubts. So, there are a lot of people. I don't know why he doesn't just show his birth certificate.
Well,
I hope he does.
You know what?
I'd much rather run man to man. I don't know why he doesn't just show his birth certificate.
Yesterday, Michelle Bachmann showed Trump how to handle questions about the president's birth certificate.
Well, I have the president's certificate right here. It's certified. It's got a certification number. It's got the registrar of the state signed. It's got a seal on it, and it says this copy serves as prima facie evidence of the fact of birth in any court proceeding.
Well, then that should settle it.
So it's over.
That's what should settle it. I take the president at his word, and I think for I would have no problem. Then apparently the president wouldn't either. Introduce that. We're done. Move on.
So this is over. Well, this has been introduced. So this case is this story's over.
Well, as long as someone introduces it, I guess it's over.
It's right there.
Yeah.
Now, we know Trump is an obsessive watcher of every bit of television that refers to him in any way. So we know he has seen how Michelle Bachmann handled the birth certificate question. He knows that's an option, accepting the president's birth certificate as real. But he refuses to do it, and instead actively chooses to continue to fan the flames of hatred of Barack Obama. He must realize by now that much of that hatred is based on the president's policy positions, but probably even more of it, that raw, ugly hatred, is based on simple, old-fashioned racism. According to the polls, millions of this country's most virulent racists now feel they have someone they could vote for president. Donald Trump is giving public voice to the most polite things that those people think about our first African-American president. The rest of what those racists think about Barack Obama and black people generally cannot be said in public, so they don't actually expect to hear it from Trump. But they hope, deep down, if there is anything deep down in Donald Trump, that he is every bit as racist as they are. When the racists see Michelle Bachmann back down in the face of the proof of President Obama's birth, and they see Donald Trump fight on, they have reason to hope that Trump shares their motivation, their strain of hatred of Barack Obama. And Trump is careful to do nothing, to say nothing, to dissuade them from that belief. Donald Trump may not be a racist, but he is now the racists' greatest hero. He is their front man. And so it comes as no surprise that decent people are now shunning all things Trump. Jerry Seinfeld pulled out of a September 13th event at the Trump National Golf Club run by Trump's son to raise money for a charity. This provoked another round in what is one of Trump's favorite forms of communication, the idiotically angry letter. Apparently feeling that he isn't getting quite enough publicity, he released the letter to the New York Post. It says, I just learned you canceled a show for my son's charity because of the fact that I am being very aggressive with respect to President Obama, who is doing an absolutely terrible job as our leader. We don't care that you broke your commitment, even though the children of St. Jude are very disappointed. And despite the fact that your manager clearly stated you are truly a man of his word, what I do feel badly about is that I agreed to do and did your failed show, The Marriage Ref, even though I thought it was absolutely terrible. Despite its poor ratings, I didn't cancel on you like you canceled on my son and St. Jude. I only wish I did. You should be ashamed of yourself. Seinfeld's press representative confirmed that he is dropping out of the press event because he believes that Trump's, quote, demagoguery has no place in public discourse, end quote. Jerry Seinfeld still plans to make a contribution to the charity involved in the Trump event. Jerry Seinfeld is, of course, too classy to point out to Donald Trump that Seinfeld's 9-year run of the show Seinfeld made more money for NBC than Trump ever has, and made hundreds of millions more for Jerry Seinfeld than Trump has made for himself at NBC. I point out that money thing only because it is Trump himself who has expressed the belief that nothing measures a person's value better than money. Trump has announced that someone named Bret Michaels will substitute for Jerry Seinfeld. I, for one, have no idea who Bret Michaels is, what he now does for a living, or what he may have done in the past, but I do know that Bret Michaels has never served as a substitute for Jerry Seinfeld. Trump is desperately trying to lure other celebrities to participate in his September 13th event. His people have suggested that some New York Yankees or some New York Jets might show up. But any public association with Trump now is an association that no decent person can bear, as Jerry Seinfeld has clearly shown us. I am doing this show tonight in the very same building here in Burbank, where NBC programming executives have been quietly planning their continued association with Donald Trump by ordering another season of his NBC show. Jerry Seinfeld has made that association with Donald Trump a lot more difficult for NBC, or for anyone who cares at all about truth and decency.